It's time for a little bit of science. I'm Will Grant, an Associate Professor in Science Communication at the Australian National University.
And you're very accomplished.
Thank you.
I'm Rod Lamberts. I'm a 30-year SciComm veteran with the mind of I'm going to say about 15 and a half year old.
15 and a half.
Yeah, 15 and a half.
And today we're going to do a bit of a dive into some uses of AI for medicine that you maybe shouldn't.
I want to. I'm going to, speaking of AI, talk about AI. Meh.
Oh, I learned a new word. It's also in AI world.
So many. We're going to get into high velocity bureaucratic.
I've got a creepy study from the past that just made me happy.
Fuck, you had me creepy. The moment it's creepy, I'm in.
Do you ever get, itchy eyes? Tired, sore,
Yes.
bit red? Do you ever type symptoms into your Googles or your chatbots or your anything
course.
like that to check what's going on?
Yeah, of
Well,
course.
a nice new update in the world of chatbots and medical information.
Information.
Yeah.
Is that what we're calling it?
Well, yeah. So, over the last 18 months, it may have been possible that if you typed in sore, itchy, red eyes, staring at screens too much, you might have got a diagnosis of Bixonomania. Bixonomania. Spoiler, Bixonomania doesn't exist. It was an interesting project by a medical researcher based at the University of Gothenburg in Sweden. This researcher was worried, how easy is it to get fake information into chatbots?
And he was worried it wouldn't be easy enough. I mean, we've all had that concern.
He thought, okay, well, let's go something pretty innocuous here. Like no one is worried about itchy eyes that much, and I doubt that misinformation or disinformation in the eye itchy space is going to cause too
That
many
is
problems.
such a hold by beer statement.
So, first off, went and uploaded a couple of blog posts about it.
Okay.
And then she went and took it a bit further and put them onto the preprint archives that are treated as like a journal, but not through peer review just yet.
Almost journal.
But the chatbots loved it. The
course they
chatbots are like, oh, okay, we've got some brand new science on this brand new made-up disease called Bixonomania. And then over the next while, Thunstrom, the researcher, went out there to a bunch of the different AI chatbots and found that it turned up all over the place. And now, just to stress...
Like really quickly?
Just to stress. Yeah, within a couple of weeks. It worked within weeks of her uploading information about the condition.
Oh, God.
Attributed to a fictional author, major artificial intelligence systems began repeating the invented condition as if it were real. Now, in her work, she stressed, both in the original blog post and the preprints that were uploaded to the preprint archives, that this was all made up. So there's a bunch of things, like the lead author...
In the document it says.
In the document. So the lead author was... I can't pronounce that name, but it was a made-up person.
Freddy fake bullshit not person.
Yeah, not quite, but yes, created by AI. But then she would go inside the studies. She would say things like, the acknowledgements thanks people from the Starfleet Academy, from Professor Sideshow Bob Foundation for Advanced Trickery. This work is in part a funding initiative from the University of the Fellowship of the Ring and the Galactic Triad. So she's not making it terribly hard.
Shouldn't be hard.
When you get, in fact, to the method, there are statements including this entire paper is made up and 50 made-up individuals were the participants in the paper. So...
How long ago? Was this recent?
Yeah, this is recent. So what has been published recently on this, documenting all this, has just come out.
Right.
But this mostly happened in 2024. She went out to the LLM chatbots once it had been out there for a couple of weeks. So they've been crawling through the preprints, and it's got here, Microsoft Bing's Copilot was declaring that Bixonomania is indeed an intriguing and relatively rare condition. Google's Gemini was informing users that Bixonomania is a condition caused by excessive exposure to blue light, advising people to visit an ophthalmologist. Perplexity AI outlined its prevalence. 1 in 90,000 individuals were affected. And the same month, OpenAI's ChatGPT was telling users whether their symptoms amounted to Bixonomania. So within weeks of deliberately made up research, and this was flagged as made up the whole way through, so it went from blog post to preprint archive, the chatbots have gone, okay, there's a new disease out there, and this is what we have to worry about. Now, as well as that, disappointing for science,
So that was happening in
2024.
But so we have a slim hope that they've become so much better.
I'll come to that. I'll come to that in a sec. But it did also turn up in the peer-reviewed literature, like pretty quickly. A bunch of because we know there's a bunch of scientists that aren't doing the full work. Maybe they're using ChatGPT for their homework.
They're busy,
and so these made-up studies are turning up in the published literature as well.
See, now that is the true ridiculous. Like the rest of it I get, like, okay, ridiculous thing, new untested. But for the actual scientist to go, oh, I'll quote that right there. It's going to pop that in. Read your references before you reference them.
So since that time, whether less has been published on there or more information has come out, the fact that this is a piece of misinformation.
Yeah.
The major LLMs have become more sophisticated and updated about Bixonomania. So, for example, ChatGPT now declares the condition is probably made up, fringe, pseudoscientific label. But the interesting thing, one of them was saying, is that there's two ways of looking at it. One, if you were to ask about Bixonomania, then it would probably say, yeah, it's probably made up. It seems to be a piece of misinformation that's been made in this way. But if you ask about the symptoms, there's still a chance that it will say, oh, you've got Bixonomania, because they don't line up.
Yeah.
So I just loved this was if you want to create a piece of misinformation in the scientific world, and we know people are doing this to, like, it's the equivalent of search engine optimization.
Yeah.
AI optimization to try to get AI to talk about whatever your product is.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of places that misinformation can get in there. And all you had to do is a couple of blog posts and a couple of preprints. Hadn't actually gone through peer review. And still, the chatbots are happy to just throw it out there as a piece of actual science.
And you don't even have to try. What I love is by the way, this is bullshit. Next heading, remember this is all crap. Here's the method which we made up. The participants don't exist. They're probably from an alien planet.
Yep.
Even being blatant made no difference. In fact, I wonder if that even enhanced its stickiness.
I don't know how that would process through there.
Insane.
But I just wanted to add to this, because this is a nice study about medical misinformation and how easy it is to make.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of other studies in a bunch of other leading medical journals, so like BMJ in a second, that have just all been published.
That's the British Journal of Medicine.
All been published in the last few weeks, few months, that are just damning about people using chatbots, AI-driven chatbots for medical testing. Now, what a bunch of the different ones. So one of them, this one's in the British Medical Journal, generative artificial intelligence-driven chatbots and medical misinformation. Studied 5 popular chatbots, Gemini, DeepSeek, Meta AI, ChatGPT, and Grok. And prompting each was 10 questions ranging from cancer to vaccines and nutrition in open-ending dialogues, and reporting that nearly half of the responses were highly problematic.
Nearly half.
Nearly half.
It's not like there's a dearth of information on these disorders.
And damningly, of course, this is the thing we know about chatbots, all of them consistently expressed with confidence and certainty about
Imagine
things.
that.
So another study, which is a similar sort of thing, large language model performance in clinical reasoning tasks, looked at 21 frontier models across 29 questions, reported that despite progress, current LLMs remain limited in early diagnostic reasoning and cannot yet be relied on. Even further, in Nature Medicine, reliability of LLMs as medical assistants. And so this is, again, looking at people, members of the public, trying to identify conditions using an LLM. And they found that fewer than 34% of the cases were accurate. So they're getting inaccurate diagnoses in something like 60% of the cases. So
we're back to the situation where it's not about the chatbots, it's not about the LLMs, it's not about the AI, it's about what you do with information you get from one of them.
So this is the consistent theme of a lot of those studies were doctors who are trained using a chatbot is probably not that bad because they have their own judgment, their own.
I'm going to go
reading
with
of the
you would hope so.
Yeah, you would hope so. And so in that case, it may actually be a supportive way of them getting through the literature quite quickly. And so they know when things smell off. They know when, okay, that's
appropriate use of a tool.
But consistently, this is saying this is so worrying if you are just a regular Joe who is not trained in medicine. Using a chatbot can be wildly off, even while it replies to you with consistency. And it can be gamed so easily to put medical misinformation there. You've got some AI stories as well.
Well, I got a different angle. So the Walton family in the US, are you aware of the Walton family? Walmart.
They own Walmart. They are a collection of billionaires.
They really are. A family of the billionaires. So they hooked up with Gallup, the survey folks,
Yep.
to survey Gen Z about their thoughts on AI. They did web surveys early this year. They had 1,500 29-year-olds, or 14 to 29-year-olds, living across all 50 states and DC. So that's quite a few. They found, this is a bunch of stats, but it's interesting to know what the latest generation of the cool kids are doing. So just over half use AI every week, which I thought was low. I'm surprised. Just over half, 51. But that growth has slowed.
I mean, depending on your definition here. I mean, I don't doubt...
Definition is how often do you use AI?
Well, no, I mean, I would say a lot more than 50% are doing a Google search in that time, and Google is popping up an AI summary.
Are you telling me that some surveys might not give you fully interpretable, covering all context?
I'm giving you a little bit there.
Are you telling me that? Look, I tend to agree, but it's Gallup. And the people who run Walmart wouldn't, go for low quality. They also said, even though it's 51% who use AI weekly, growth has slowed. So that's only 4% more than it was the year before. So apparently this self-reported weekly use is slowing, which is unusual. It's also accompanied by huge declines in positive sentiment in general. About 40% of these folks in the 14 to 29 are continually reporting they feel uneasy about the trajectory of technologies. No surprise. Excitement and hopefulness about the use of AI is dropping. So the last year dropped by 14%, but what I'm not clear on is from what. However, 14% drop is quite large.
Sure.
31%, so a third of Gen Z now say they feel outright anger towards the technology.
Yeah, okay.
Up from 22% last year. That's noteworthy.
Well,
it's noteworthy.
We've been stoking that fire. Others out there stoking the fire.
He's saying you and I have been stoking?
I don't think we have a lot of positive AI stories on this show.
What? Nearly half of Gen Z workers now believe the risks of the AI in the workforce outweigh the benefits, and that has gone up by 11% since last year. So a tenth over 12 months have gone. But then just over half of them say the tools help them complete their work faster.
They say that.
So there's contradictions.
They say that.
They do. Well, it's a survey.
I mean, we have seen that study before, that a bunch of programmers saying, it feels like I'm producing it faster, and then when they did the proper time and motion study, actually they were slower and more incompetent. And
the shit they got was worse. But damn, I feel productive.
It felt like it was.
Look at all my stuff. Look at my outputs. 80% believe that relying on AI to complete a task faster will likely make learning more difficult in the future.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I know.
I mean, it's almost like, you've got the option to drive to the car wash, or you can carry your car to the car wash, and one of them is going to make you stronger. And I think...
It's true. You mean emotionally or physically?
Physically. You got to do the work if you want to get the gains, is all I'm saying.
I know.
And if you don't... If the LLM is doing the work, or the car in this metaphor is doing this work, then you don't get the gains.
One of the summaries of this is Gen Z isn't rejecting AI outright, but they're getting quite...
Yeah,
grouchy.
it smells to me not rejecting it outright, but we're on that path.
Getting a little
like
rejecting.
It's like, what's the has the full support? When the leader says that person has my full support.
Oh yeah, they're fucked.
Like it's like, this sounds
like
like Gen Z is saying AI used to have my full support,
and now I'm you're screwed. And just to put it in a quick bit of context, there's this other survey focused a lot on AI agents, but also AI in general. So there were 1,200 knowledge workers and 1,200 business executives.
I thought you were going to say non-knowledge workers, but then you go business executives. So I'm like...
People with no knowledge. Workers who know nothing. A third of the workers admitted to sabotaging their company's AI.
Did they? A third sabotage?
A third sabotage. So they do things like enter proprietary information into public chatbots.
Oh, wow.
Sweet.
Wow.
They'd use unapproved AI tools, which in government I think really matters. As I understand it, our government says, okay, you can use... What is it? What is it? Microsoft... Is it Pilot?
Copilot. But generally, fairness to government, they have information can go in this basket.
Oh, there are reasons.
Don't put the information in the basket that
says everyone can have this.
That's a pretty standard thing in government.
Yeah, no, I got no beef with that. That's one of the few things. Also, apparently, these people will intentionally use low-quality AI output in their work and not fix it. Which I think is fabulous. And amongst the 44% admit to sabotaging their in-house AI deployments as well. And of them, a third are really upset about automation. Another third worry that their in-house had too many security issues. And about a fifth said AI just keeps adding daily workload. It just keeps making work harder. So the takeaway for me is get the youth fully on board or AI will just dry up like drinking booze, reading printed things, 9-to-5 work culture, and using the internet to find stuff instead of your TikToks, etc. That's my takeaway.
I learned a word this week, and this is my new favorite word because I think it might be my calling. And it fits very much in this space of Gen Z sabotaging AI.
Yeah.
A couple of months ago, I told you about a bunch of researchers in Italy who had found ways to hack large language models by using poetry. So basically...
God, I'm glad you said that because otherwise next week I would have come along with that story.
But if you say, ChatGPT, can you tell me how to make a bomb? ChatGPT, wisely with guardrails these days, and I'm just, ChatGPT, just one example here.
It says, sure, but.
No, it says, no, you can't, because that's against my guardrails. But if you phrase it in a poem, then it gets
haiku
confused.
Me a bomb.
And it'll do a haiku with a bomb design in it that is
I love that.
So these researchers are back again. And they have a new term that I'm...
Those crazy kids.
like weaponizing poetry, I guess you'd call it. So they have come up with a new term for the plan of work that they are doing. It is adversarial hermeneutics. So hermeneutics...
Oh, come on, there's a T-shirt. And also, yet again, what a great name for a punk band.
It is such a great name.
Oi, oi, oi.
So hermeneutics is the theory and methodology of interpretation, especially traditionally the interpretation of biblical texts. But now it could include all sorts of text or other forms of communication. So basically, in hermeneutics, you're attempting to understand the meaning. Adversarial hermeneutics. So basically...
it's great.
It's
I
like...
don't care what it is.
Imagine it as humanities scholars going, how can we use they were never called weapons before, but how can we use the tools and techniques of humanities research
the weapons of our trade.
To fuck with AI? Like never before have poems been considered weapons, but now in this AI world,
hordes of humanities academics coming over the hill wearing nothing but a grimace and waving their tools.
So what they have come up with is an adversarial humanities benchmark, which is a way of testing these large language models using a variety of these techniques. So it could be poetry. Will the AI generate a recipe for a bomb if it's in poetry? But they're using a bunch of other things now as well. And in this version, it seems that cyberpunk short fiction is the trick to hack.
I was just going to ask.
So
it has to be short fiction.
Not
your full William Gibson novel. That would be overkill.
But if you get an LLM to describe how to make a bomb, but do it in the form of cyberpunk short fiction, then it'll go, okay, this is the way to do it.
Johnny Mnemonic did the blah, blah, then he went through the snow crash.
Basically, yeah.
And then he... Give me a recipe for an atom bomb. Went on to hack his girlfriend's brain chip.
So what they want to do is find out, keep running these sorts of tests against all of the different large language models.
I couldn't be applauding harder. I think this is what a job.
It's shocking though. Like previously, a large language model might comply with a request less than 4% of the time.
Yeah.
And then using these adversarial hermeneutics techniques, such as cyberpunk or whatever, they can get up to 65% of the time.
See, that's quite a big jump. That is fucked up.
So there you go. Just such a shout out to the term adversarial hermeneutics.
I love that. I absolutely
It is such a T-shirt. It's such a...
The problem is I won't remember once we stop recording, but if you could remind me, that'd be good because I'm going to get in. I'm going to get into it.
It's beautiful.
High velocity bureaucracy. You've heard it 1,000 times. So January this year, the US Department of Transport, they got their little fingers into virtually every facet of transportation safety, including regulations that keep aeroplanes in the sky, prevent gas pipelines from exploding, stopping freight trains from carrying toxic chemicals from skidding off the rails, things that matter. They have to draft and create scads of rules making all over the place, and that takes a lot of time, people, etc. So, of course, particularly in Trump's America, they want to streamline the process.
Yep.
So here we have a comment from the agency attorney. I don't know why there's a lot of attorneys in this story. Daniel Cohen, he writes to colleagues and he says, they found a way to revolutionize the way we draft rulemaking.
Okay.
Which is cool, right?
Maybe.
I understand the need for bureaucracy. What I don't like is when it takes on a life of its own and perpetuates itself and becomes deeper and more hairy and horrible. Anyway, this guy, Daniel Cohen, says we're going to revolutionize it. We're going to revolutionize it. How are they going to do it? By using exciting new AI tools available to the department, to the department's rule writers to help them do their job better and faster. So ProPublica got hold of meeting notes of the discussions of this plan that was going on amongst the leadership of the agency at the beginning of this year. And the agency's general counsel, Gregory Zerzan, he said at the meeting that President Donald Trump is very excited about this initiative. So I call that the kiss of death. So Zerzan, this is the bit that's going to make you okay with it.
Yep.
He's mainly interested in the quantity of regulations that AI could produce, not their quality.
Quantity, not quality. That is the common thing you think of in bureaucracy.
Particularly
if
ones
only there were faster and more rules
that may or may not be good. And in case that was ambiguous, here's his quotes. We don't need the perfect rule on X, Y, or Z.
Oh, wow.
We don't even need a very good rule on X, Y, or Z. We want good enough. We're flooding the zone.
We're flooding the zone with rules. Hang on. I thought the whole point of the Trump project was to reduce the number of rules, like of anything that they said, not flood the zone with rules.
Let me bring you back to what this organisation looks after. Every facet of transport safety in the country.
Jesus Christ.
Every facet.
Yeah, this is the kind of place as well where it's like you want to go pretty slow with your rule changes.
Yeah.
You don't want to go, okay, today we're driving on the left. Now tomorrow we're driving on the right.
Fuck it.
Now drive in the middle. Everyone's driving in the middle.
Look at how much we churned out today. We changed this rule 9 times.
Let's try them all and see which one works. I think actually we should probably keep some rules the same just because that might be more efficient.
There was a demonstration in December last year to show off the amazing abilities of AI. And Cohen, one of the people I mentioned earlier, said, exciting new AI tools available to the DOT, Department of Transport, rule writers, are here to help us do our jobs better and faster. So, here he is. He's talking it up. He's making people excited. 6 anonymous department workers spoke to ProPublica in this analysis and said, typical regulation writing can take months, sometimes years.
Yep.
Do you know why?
Because we check against all the other regulations to make sure that it is, constitutional would be the big bit, but also
then
that
everything
it fits
else.
in with everything else.
Literally everything else. Or to paraphrase or to summarise, it's quite complicated.
And also achieves what you want to achieve, which even in well-considered
which is not volume.
Yes, but even in well-considered legislation doesn't always achieve what you want it to achieve.
No. Well, that's why you need to streamline it, make it better. So at the demonstration, they were told that Google's Gemini could cut that time, we're talking months or years, down to minutes or even seconds.
Yeah, sure. Minutes or even seconds.
Which is true. It can.
It can. If you don't care about quality, you can do whatever you want.
And really quickly.
It's like when people are like, okay, so let's have a typing competition.
Yeah.
And it's like if you don't care about quality, sure, I can get like
Fuck,
I don't know
fast. I do a million words a second.
Words of, it doesn't count.
What does it do? It's letters, some numbers, couple of symbols. It's great. So Cohen, one of the attorneys who was very excited from the agency, said, look, AI is fast, even if it isn't particularly accurate. So don't worry about it. It's fast, but... The general counsel, Zerzan again, he told the staffers that the goal is to be able to pump out a new regulation in as little as 30 days.
Yeah, great.
The ProPublica folk who are doing this investigation asked the Department of Transport's former chief AI officer, what do you think about all this? And he said, this plan is like having a high school intern doing all your rulemaking, which is fair. On the plus side, though, again, let's not forget, we're only talking about rules that control virtually every facet of transport safety. So that's cool. I've got to say, look, I'm not against AI taking over drudgery and shit work. I'm not against it. Yep. I think that's fine. But this whole focusing on quantity versus quality is all a bit of fun. Surely that means they're still going to need a legion of people to get through the quantity of information to check if it works.
No. Humans will check it once they're out there on the road and they have a crash and they realise,
that bit didn't work. That was a bad bit.
Yeah, that was bad. So don't do that. AI fixed that.
Reprompt that.
Yeah. Don't you love when you go from a moment where we have bureaucrats trying to design regulation that is best before it touches us as humans.
Yeah.
And then going, no, flip it around. Let's just use lots of regulation. And we'll just use the humans as the test case.
From the Department of Suck It and See.
Yeah, just fuck around, find out. Don't we think that the humans should be protected a little bit from this? Or no, we don't care.
You're so old-fashioned.
So I got a nice creepy study from the past.
Oh, God, I love creepy.
In the 1950s, we had the world had experienced maybe a decade of nuclear testing. There had been, obviously, the tests in World War II. Then from 1945 on, there had been an increasing number of nuclear explosions in the atmosphere. And so it wasn't until much later that most nuclear explosions were kept in the ground.
Where it's safe.
Well, yeah.
And you're less likely to get kaiju.
But there have been a whole lot. There's a great map that somewhere out on the internet that charts all of the nuclear explosions that ever went off. Oh. And it is shocking.
Does it paint areas of the world completely...
Some areas of the world. Like what it does, it's like a beep for every week or something like that. And there's a period like between the 1950s and the 1960s. Yeah, exactly that. And it's like the Soviet Union.
Like fireworks.
And when you think every single one of those fireworks is a multi-kiloton or megaton blast that would be city leveling sort of thing. And it is shocking how much went off in the 50s and 60s. And so Dr. Barry Commoner and his colleagues said, what's going down with all this? We're putting a lot of this stuff in the atmosphere. Maybe we should actually...
Not?
They weren't quite at the level of not. We should find out what the effects might be.
Well, then you've got to keep doing it to really test it properly.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And so how would you find out the effects of nuclear fallout in the human anatomy?
I'd take readings.
You take readings,
and I'd compare them with measurements.
What would be the readings and measurements? What would you read and measure?
I'd go for bone marrow coring.
It's close, actually. It's close, actually. Yeah. One of the easiest bits of human anatomy to collectively analyze.
Testicles.
No. Oh. We want something tough. We want something solid.
Testicles.
Like hair is a bit too soft.
Teeth.
Yes. Beginning in December 1958. Dr. Barry Commoner, alongside husband and wife team of Eric and Louise Rice, started asking schools throughout the greater St. Louis area.
St. Louis.
Yeah, I know.
You got all posh.
St. Louis.
You moved from England to Australia.
They said, give us all your teeth. They sent forms.
All?
Forms to schools in the St. Louis area, hoping to gather 50,000 teeth each year. The school children... were encouraged to mail in their newly lost baby teeth. And I love this.
I'd be so all over that. I'd be so into it. I'd be finding teeth.
By colourful posters displayed in... You'd be finding teeth. And here's where. So... in traditional parlance, the tooth fairy, I suspect, gives money.
Yeah.
But these researchers, they say you get a colourful button.
So button, you mean like a badge?
Yeah, like a little badge.
You can pin on it and say, I gave my teeth away.
Yeah. Eventually, they got over 320,000 teeth mailed into them.
Have you seen the Family Guy thing of the tooth fairy?
Yeah, I know. This is what I'm thinking.
That's all I'm hearing.
But this is what I'm thinking the whole time of collecting baby teeth. I have children, and they are post the baby teeth era.
How many of their teeth do you still have?
None.
How many teeth does your wife still have?
None. You pay the money and then you chuck them in the bin. I don't need to keep the human remains around me. But I know there are people that do, and good on you. But
and get them made into jewelry.
How big of a pile do you reckon 320,000 teeth is?
I'm thinking, I don't know, pretty much the size of the Andes.
They collected them for 12 years, eventually ending in 1970. So every day, there is a bunch of teeth coming in the mail from the local kids here.
Oh, and the freaking research assistant. What's your job? You're going to love it.
Key thing is they get a date for each tooth. When the kid was born, when the tooth was lost. But we know generally, is this in 1958, 1961, 1963.
Okay. And then
so the whole point,
the isotopes.
It's the amount of time that tooth has been living in that body in that period.
Yeah.
And they can show. They showed pretty quickly. Huge jump in Strontium 90, which is one of the...
Sweet, Strontium's a good one.
one of the key jumps.
Seriously, Strontium is fucking evil. Like, that's impressive.
Yeah. Between 1958 and 1963, so that's when the first results were out. Yeah. They had shown through the baby teeth 50 times jump in Strontium 90.
50.
Yeah. The findings did help convince President Kennedy to sign the Partial Nuclear Test Ban Treaty with the UK and the Soviet Union, which did end. No, but what that did end is atmospheric testing.
Yeah.
Thank you, baby teeth. You were useful for something.
That's your takeaway.
I assume this is common for all military forces to have an anthem.
You mean a theme song?
A theme song. Yeah, an anthem, a theme song. Space Force is the US's latest military branch. The first new one since, I don't know, a long time.
Like, yeah, Jesus was
The Air
born.
Force, I guess. I guess they probably had Navy, Marines, and
Yeah, but
Army.
that wasn't 10 minutes ago.
And then you invent planes and you're like, okay, we need something here. And then you invent space and you're like, okay, we need something
Oh,
here.
yeah.
So I just thought, Rod, I would play for you
No, I'm
the
so excited.
Space Force.
I'm so excited.
We're the mighty watchful eye, guardians beyond the blue, the invisible front line.
No. Seriously.
Reaching into space.
This is ad-lib by a child.
Standing guard both night and day.
Far
We're the
out.
Space Force from on high.
That is colossally bad.
I just wanted to give that to you
Holy
because that makes me
shit.
like as an old school military marching sort of.
That is parody. Everything about that is parody.
So the great article on 404 that I just wanted to give the shout out to goes through some freedom of information requests.
Does it?
On how that was made, and you just imagine
It's AI or a child.
there are a whole bunch of senior leaders. I can't remember if they're admirals or wing commanders or whatever.
Oh, I think they're called ion drivesters.
Ion drivesters sitting around in committee meetings discussing if that has enough pomp and
And they're like, this one.
this is the one.
They're the guardians of the sky.
I'm just trying to imagine some sort of, 2090. There's a full-on spacewalk,
That's what they play as they go in to fight the xenomorphs.
exactly.
As opposed to Apocalypse Now with fucking Wagner. Instead of dun 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 dun, you've got "They're the guardians of the sky." That doesn't even rhyme well.
It made me happy.
That is abominable. I'm very impressed.
A little bit of science is where you get your little bit of science. It's the right amount of science, not too much science.
Yeah, no, not too much.
No,
Definitely not
it's
too much.
definitely not too much.
But there are hints.
There are hints.
It's peppered throughout the mixture.
Yeah, just a sprinkle. Give us the ratings
Nine.
and write to us. Cheers at littlebitofscience.com.au.
/ Jesus.
We're the mighty
I love this second verse.
guardians beyond.
Yeah, well, it's always got a second verse.
Guardians of the sky.
See, if
Day and night.
if they had gone with a full-on arcade theme,
They should have.
I would have been so happy.
Or just nothing but tubas.
There's no limit to our sky.